Well, new data from Uber shows that Toronto is only behind Ottawa when it comes to the worst ratings of riders. Now, to break this down, we are joined by Keithana Rang with Uber Canada. Thank you for joining us this evening. So let's talk about this list. Toronto is second, and show us who else across the country is not the greatest when it comes to being driven by Uber drivers.
Yeah, so last year we introduced a feature in the app for riders to see exactly how their rating is calculated, the good and the bad. You can see your last 500 trips and how many drivers gave you 5 stars, or how many handed out the dreaded 1 star, and everything in between. And so for the second year in a row, we've released the top 5 and lowest 5 ranked cities for rider ratings. So we've got in the, I'm just taking a look at the list here, the lowest average rider rating, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Hamilton, and Edmonton. So Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal continue to be the lowest ranked cities. And then in terms of the top 5, with the highest average rider rating, we have Sherbrooke, Trois-Rivières, Red Deer, Winnipeg, and Halifax. I mean, that's an interesting list because we introduced rideshare for the first time in Quebec this year. And so Sherbrooke and Trois-Rivières is in the top.
Interesting. Okay, and when it comes to, some of the things that drivers are saying riders can do a better job of, what are some of those things?
Yeah, look, I live in Toronto, and it's not great to see that we are, number 2 in terms of the lowest ranked cities on this list. But we also shared some tips from drivers on how riders can improve their ratings. So in the top 5 tips, clean up after your mess. Buckle up, wear your seatbelt. Be ready, that's a big one for when you call your Uber. Treat everyone and everything with respect. And then the biggest tip, which people don't think about, is don't slam the door when you're leaving your Uber.
That is definitely a common courtesy, something that I think people often forget. Okay, and real quick before we run, as far as moving forward, any tips as far as to make the overall experience better for both driver as well as passenger?
Yeah, I think the tip that really stands out is treat everyone and everything with respect. At the end of the day, this is a job for drivers, and then riders want to get where they're going. So I think, treating everyone with respect and being kind will go a long way.
It certainly will. Keithana Rang with Uber Canada. Thanks for your time this evening. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.